Okay, guys, check out how cool this is. I got a microphone so that I can actually talk to you guys and I don't have to do screencastify. So I'm feeling pretty good about life. So anyways, I think that I will go over the calculator instructions just as my trial and error on the whole recording thing. Okay, so I put these steps, I'm trying to get the whole thing in there. I put these steps on Google Classroom via pictures, but let me show you just one more time. So if you have data to put in for your, whoops, um, and I asked you to do a linear regression model, or also known as a scatter plot with a line of best fit. Here's what you do first. You're going to go to Stat, and Edit comes up first, so you hit Enter. That takes you to your list. Okay, your list is where you enter in all of your data. So I default put your X values in list 1 and default put your Y values in L2. Okay, once you have all that data in, go ahead and get out of there. So second, quit. The next thing we're going to do is actually do the equation and store it in your calculator so that it'll graph it. Okay, so you're going to go Stat, and you're going to arrow over to Calc and down to LinReg and hit Enter. You want your screen to look like mine. You want to just make sure that your X values, your X list is wherever you put them. I've told you to default to list 1, but if you put them in, say, L4, you would need to change that to L4. So wherever you entered them in your initial list. If you need to change it, it's easy. The way you change it is second, and then if I wanted to change it to L4, I would do second 4, because that's where the L4 is. Okay. So once you've made sure your lists are good, you want to come down here to the store reg X. So you're just going to use your arrow keys to get down there. And this is where yellow calculators and black calculators are different. So let me do the yellow calculator first, and then I will do the black calculator. So yellow calculators, what you guys are going to do here is you're going to do alpha, and you're going to do trace. That pops this up. We're going to go ahead and tell it to save our equation right here in Y1. So we hit enter, enter, enter. You now have the ability to write your prediction equation for your linear regression. So you have y equals ax plus b. I've told you what a is and I've told you what b is. So you could write, if this were your data, y equals 0.006x plus 2.84. That would be your equation. Okay. If you have a black calculator, the steps are similar. You're still going to enter your data in the same way that we entered it before. Everything is going to be the same except for once you get out of your list and you go to Stat, you still arrow over to Calc, you still arrow down to LinReg. But you guys get this. You don't get that handy dandy little menu. So we have to tell it what to do. So let me get my camera up here. So for you guys to do this, you're going to put in your X list first. So that's your default L1. So I would do second 1, comma, and then you're going to do your Y list. So that would be second L2. And again, it's wherever you have um, your Y value stored, comma. And this is the part that you guys always forget. You need to do this so that it stores your equation. And this is where the black calculator is different. Vars, arrow over to Y vars, and it should be function. So you'll hit enter, and you'll hit enter, and you'll hit enter one more time. And now you have, obviously I have different data in this calculator, so it's not the same, but you would be able to write your equation also. You have y equals ax plus b, where you know what a and b are, so you would put y equals 114.5x minus 61. Okay, so the last couple things we need to do is we need to graph. So let's go ahead and graph. The first thing you need to check, see if I can get this in here again. The first thing you need to check is that your y equals only has your LinReg equation in it. So check that. Make sure that's the only thing it has. You want your equal sign to be highlighted. If it's not highlighted, it'll look like that. See, it's not highlighted. So what you need to do is arrow up to the equals and hit enter. That turns that graph on. Okay. And then the last thing we do is stat plot, which is second y equals. And notice these are all off except for the first one. That's what I want. So I'm going to hit enter. If it's not on, if it were off, when you come in here, it would look like that. Just go over to on and hit enter. You also want your scatter plot to be highlighted. So if it's not on, you arrow to it and hit enter. Your X list, you still want it to be where you stored your X values. Your Y list, you still want it to be where you stored your Y values. And then last but not least, you're going to go ahead and graph. If your graph comes out funky, go ahead and hit zoom 9 and that'll fix it. Okay. Notice on this graph, this outlier right here is why this line is not lining up with these other points. Okay. So that's it for graphing on your guys' calculator. And I hope this video turned out good. Otherwise, I'll have to do it again. But other than that, hopefully that worked, and hopefully I turned